Uh, okay, hello everyone. Greetings from Vidyalankar. So my name is Abhijit Nath, and I hope all of you are doing safe. All of you are doing great and staying safe at your home. We have been doing this, series of webinars where basically we talk to our rankers and achievers. And today we have with us Professor Rohan Malkar, who is also our faculty where he teaches mechanical students, specifically uh, mechanical subjects, and he is MTech. He has done his masters from VJTI and currently working at Siemens as project lead. Then we have Varsha, who has joined us from USA, and she is currently doing her MS in from University of Bentley, and she is doing her masters in design innovation. And we have Rutvik Pandit, who is our current student. He is in his final year, currently in SPIT, and he has secured GATE AIR 276 this year in electronics and communication. So I would like to thank you all for joining us today. And the session today will be basically, like kind of, it will give insight to the student on how to cope up with this COVID-19 situation. Uh, how GATE exam can help them, to secure a career, or maybe, to grab a good job, right, and to keep themselves updated and technically skilled. Uh, so we will take a lot of questions. So students, those who have joined us live, please feel free to write your questions in the comment section. And while writing the question, also write the name of the panels to whom you want to direct your question to. I'll start with Rohan sir. He has been with students. He has been teaching students for many years now in the Vidyalankar. So Rohan sir has a story like he was selected for Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, and he rejected Indian Institute of Science Bangalore because he did not he did not got his favorite subject, which was machine design, and then he has done his masters from VJTI. So sir, tell me your story. How, like, what motivated you to consider only your subject of interest as your master's program?
I hope I'm audible, Abhijit,
Yeah.
to everyone. Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
great. So one of the reasons behind, declining the admissions was I was joining there for specialized branch called Sustainable Technologies. I was okay with it, but they had no option of finding out the correct amount of thesis, what thesis we wanted to select. That choice was not given to students that time. It was all pre-decided, and another branch where I was selected was for aerospace engineering, which I was not very eager to get into. One of the main reasons.
Right.
So these were the two main reasons I didn't go, even though ISC offered. ISC, I got selected in ISC, but yeah, I opted for machine design as my interest was lying in machine design and thermal. So that's what I opted in for.
Right. And Varsha, tell me about your subject, that the subject that you are doing masters in Bentley University. Tell me something about that.
Sure. So the program is called Digital Innovation. So the
Right.
thing is, it is kind of a mix of technical and business subjects. So the idea
Right.
here was, as a software engineer, what happens is a lot of times you're just focused on the technology or the project that you're working on and don't really think about how your decisions impact the business. So somewhere down the line, I wanted to get into management and the business side of things. And I thought that once I'm returning back to education, it is good to get into a degree which gives me an exposure to both technical as well as business aspects. So that's why I'm here.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, was I audible or did you miss part of what I said?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, Abhijit, you are audible. Varsha, even you are audible.
Okay. For your achievement, like you have secured All India rank of 276. So I want to know, like, what was your score? Like, out of 100, how much have you scored?
I have scored 64 marks out of 100. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. in EC paper.
Okay, great. And do you know what was the score of AIR one,
Yeah,
like
I
out of
think it
100?
was, I'm pretty sure it was 82. 82 out of 100 was
82. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So the question that I asked you, because most of the students they like the our students, they must know what is the implication of a single mark in GATE, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me about your preparation. Yeah, yeah. So बहुत मायने रखते हैं, right? एक mark से बहुत
Uh,
मायने रखते हैं. Because yeah. So tell me about your preparation. Like how did you prepare?
right. So I'll start from the very beginning. In my second year, I was considering what my choices could be after my graduation, and one of my choice was GATE. And so I consulted a senior who was also uh, uh, from your batch, I mean, from the other batch of Vidyalankar, and he recommended me Vidyalankar. So I joined Vidyalankar for GATE
Uh,
2020. Hello,
so but
am I
there's
audible?
something wrong. Something sound.
Okay.
Am I audible to you? Yeah.
Yeah, you are audible to me. Am I audible to everyone?
Okay. Yeah. Now you are. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll keep the microphone like this. Uh,
Yeah.
so, so one of my seniors uh, was a student of your Vidyalankar GATE 2020, the other batch, and he recommended me
Right.
Vidyalankar. And so I took admission and I started to just glance through what GATE was. And eventually I started to like the idea of doing masters here, because
Right.
I wanted to have a very low risk for my masters. I had considered MS as well, but I thought it was a bit risky just after graduation. So that is where I basically pinpointed that no, I want to do PG here, from maybe from an IIT or so, and that's why I chose GATE. And then my preparation actually started from the third year of my college. So in the third year, I started to just glance through all the subjects, looking at all the notes, and just revising the concepts. One thing I would suggest every single student to do is go and sit in the lectures. A lot of students don't even sit for the lectures that they're paying for. I think that is very important. Even if you don't understand everything, even if you're not very interested in that specific subjects, just go and sit for the lectures, get a general glance of what the subject is about, what the ideas are about, and I think that contributes a lot. Then you can really start on your own preparation. The lectures can be, I would say, like a fundamental base, and then the building is your own knowledge. So does that answer your
Right.
question? I
So
think I went a bit too far.
yeah, yeah. So no, 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 no. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Like talking about the lecture.
Yeah.
So we have Rohan sir with us. So Rohan sir, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think his line got disconnected.
No, I'm still
Yeah.
here, I guess.
So okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. So, sir, like you teach a lot of students every year, right?
yeah.
Like you have seen, many of them, getting the success or scoring good, and some of might fail as well. So, I
Hmm.
want to know, like, what is the common mistake that student generally makes? Like Rutwik said कि बहुत सारे बच्चे class attend करने नहीं आते, but they should come and attend the lectures regularly, right? And what else do you suggest that students should not do, or the do's and don'ts, basically?
Okay. First of all, what Rutvik said that he took the decision of of thinking about going for GATE during its second year. He consulted some of his
Right,
seniors. So that is the apt time to decide that you want to go for that for GATE examinations for your PG. So the moment you enter your third year of engineering, you are in a mindset that you want to appear for GATE, and you are going to start preparing for GATE, because Vidyalankar starts our batches from third year itself. So you don't
right,
have that much amount of pressure in your final year for GATE, and you are pretty much over with your GATE syllabus before your seventh sem itself.
right,
So that's the first thing that a student should do. Secondly, the approach of GATE is different than your subjective examination. So that is the one thing that students sometimes miss. They feel that the way they have studied for your regular curriculum in your respective universities is the way to go in GATE as well. But that's not it. GATE requires a bit different approach, a slight different perspective. Okay, so that is what is needed to be understand by a student beforehand when he starts
Right.
attending classes, when he starts preparation. Third thing that I feel is they feel GATE can be done in the last month or 2 months or so. That's not it. If you're starting early, then you have an additional advantage that during your third year as well, you have certain subjects which are core subjects essential for GATE. So you can understand your concepts properly in college as well as what is going parallelly in classes for GATE as well. So you get a good mix of a conceptual and a subjective understanding in college and a GATE perspective understanding in the classes.
In the classes, right?
So that's the three aspects. And one of the thing that I have observed is students mostly try to quantify their they try to quantify their efforts with the amount of questions solved in GATE. That's not it. You That's not the correct way of scoring in GATE. It's the maximum right answers that you get in GATE. Although you might have attempted maybe 60 questions or maybe 55 questions only. How much correct is what matters, not how much you solve that matters. So these are the points that students should keep in mind before they start their approach and studies for GATE. I hope this
Okay.
answers the
So not
question.
only the practice, yeah, not only the practice, but also the accuracy level. How accurately you practice and you take question. That what matters, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Varsha, I wanted to know, like, why did you, chose to go for a dual degree? Like, you already have completed your master's in BJTI, and you are also working with Siemens as software developer for quite some time. Then you decided to go for a dual degree, right? Like, you go for another master's. So, what was the reason behind it?
Okay, so like I said earlier, so I mean, I did my master's in CS and then I was working with Siemens there. And at that point, I mean, the only way I thought about things was completely purely technical. I mean, when I used to develop a feature or complete a module, the only view that I had was just of that particular thing to be done. And oftentimes it so happens that, I mean, you don't have as an engineer, you don't really know. I mean, for me, I never knew what was even the relation between demand and supply was something that I never knew. So
Right.
a complete zero on the business side. So, and then I realized that, I mean, when a few years down the line, when you need to make certain decisions which will impact how the organization achieves its values or the mission and what are the business outcomes, there I was lacking completely. And going down the line somewhere, I mean, these skills will be required, is what I feel. And it is good to diversify. Uh,
Right.
I mean, there are two ways of thinking. Either you become an expert in one thing or you broaden, I mean, kind of T-shaping your skills. So that was how I decided that I need to go for a second master's. And I mean, although this is something that you can gain on a job, I mean, you do learn business skills while you're working, but that takes time. So learning it in a university setting would really help, was my understanding.
Yeah. So as they say, sky is the only limit. So there is no limit to learning. Like, you can get your master's degree as well later on. So students have started commenting. They have started asking questions. So there is a question for Rutvik, and Akash has asked. Like, he wanted to know. I'm looking. Like, I'm quoting his sentence. I'm looking forward to pursue electronics engineering masters, but I'm from CSE background. I would very much appreciate your guidance. Yeah. So this is one of the common question that we generally get. Like, and next he has asked, what is the cutoff for uh, for IITs, for not only IITs but some good colleges as well. So these are the two questions that he have asked.
Okay, so I'll address the latter part of the question first. The cutoffs for IITs tend to depend on what branch you want.
Sure.
So in electronics, microelectronics, and I would say controls, is a very highly sought after branch. I think you need a gate score of around 800 plus, if I'm not wrong. You can always go on an IIT site and check on their website. You will always get those figures. Secondly, uh, so he's from a CS background and he wants to do in EC. That is completely possible, and that is not something that is impossible. He can always give gate ECE and he can always score well, and he can always get into whatever branch he wants to. There is a requirement for some courses. The bachelor's degree that you have needs to be from a certain so either he needs to be CS or EC or IN or something. So that he'll have to check first. He'll have to check which courses he wants to get into, and then he should go ahead. So if the courses he wants to get into are eligible for a bachelor CS degree, then he can definitely give EC and he can definitely go ahead.
Right. And like he is also asking about a cutoff, and it of course it depends on it varies from year to year. Okay.
Right.
Sir, would you like to add something to this?
Right. So all the most of the IITs have a 2 year master's program for sure. A few
Right.
IITs also have a 3 years master's program. So IIT Bombay in particular has a RA program for 3 years, for which the gate score is not the gate requirement is not that high, and they generally consider your overall profile a lot more than the 2 year program. So a lot
Right.
of IITs have very good programs. They a lot so IIT Madras has a very good masters in research program that also does not have a very high gate score. I know people with gate scores in their gate ranks in their thousands can get into those programs, mostly because their profiles are very good, and the IITs really look for such candidates, and those programs are, if not as valuable, even more valuable than an MTech degree because it's focused on research.
Okay. Uh, he has asked you one more question. Like he said, you have asked him to to sit for the lecture, but he says that he feels like he is far behind as compared to other students, and that gives him anxiety. So he do
Oh.
not feel like going for lectures. So how should he cope up with that?
I would like to tell you something, Akash. I was exactly in the same seat as you are right now when I first started my GATE lectures. So I remember control systems was a subject which I used to hate. I did not understand it much, and as a result, I used to always feel, oh, everyone is ahead of me. I can't seem to comprehend anything from control systems. But then what happens is once you start nibbling at that subject, you start to understand what it is little bit about, and then you can again go back to your basic fundamentals and again refine them, and eventually uh, you get to a stage where you are actually better than most of the other people. So that happened with me. I was with two of my batchmates, both of them really control systems, and both of them scored very well, and I never used to. But then I sat down, I started looking at the questions, I started looking at what control systems is really about, and then in the end I used to solve their doubts. So any subject you can master as long as you have the motivation for it.
Right. So consistency is the key. They have
Yeah.
to be consistent. Yeah, you have to attend class regularly, ask your doubts. Then, so now I'll go little branch specific. Since Rohan is from mechanical branch, so sir, I wanted to know like how students should approach the subject. Uh, since subjects are interrelated. Okay, just we all know like engineering, mechanics, which is the basic of mechanical engineering, right? तो किस तरीके से सब्जेक्ट्स को अप्रोच करना चाहिए लाइक वी शुड फर्स्ट लर्न इंजीनियरिंग मैकेनिक्स देन यू वी शुड अप्रोच द अदर सब्जेक्ट्स और व्हाट
Uh, First of all, as I said, Rutvik said, the fundamentals is stressed out twice there. So fundamentals are very important in GATE. So engineering mechanics is one of the driving subjects, but I wouldn't say that's the only subject. So you should start with mechanics, but you should not have a approach of that's what I feel. Cascading subject learning approach. That means you should not do engineering mechanics followed by some, let's say, strength of materials, or maybe followed by machine design. I think certain subjects like strength of materials and machine design should be learned parallelly. They should go together because they are dependent. So you require some as a prerequisite for machine demand. So why not, study them as and when required? Again, there are certain subjects like heat transfer and fluid mechanics. They can be, coupled together and you can start your studies parallelly. So that also gives you one of the most important aspect of associating one subject's concepts with the other subject, which is a very rare thing that you can encounter in your universities. So there are certain concepts which are used in one particular subject, which might be used in some other subjects. Let's comment about CS as well. So the fundamental subject in CS is computer science is data structures and algorithms. But when you design a program, so when you design models, that's the prime requisite, because you cannot have an algorithm or a program running which has very poor performance or very slow. So again, it boils down to fundamentals. So once you have your core subjects in hand, strong with you, then it becomes very simple to build on those subjects. So study those subjects first, and then go on with the application subjects in mechanical, like machine design, refrigeration, air conditioning, theory of machines, engineering mechanics. So these are kind of built-ins. These are the you can say the subjects which rely on other subjects. So do that first. So that kind of approach is actually the most feasible one when you study for GATE.
Right. And so similar question to Varsha. Do you remember your preparation days? Like what kind of strategies you have, set during your preparation time, and tell us something
Yeah.
about.
So one thing that I would like to say to students is that no one is at zero here. So all of us have been studying those same subjects for the last 4 years in engineering. So, I mean,
Right.
even though you might not have an entire grasp of the subject, you've at least heard terms through attending lectures, like Ritvik said, and also through, I mean, for example, in CS, I remember we used to have the compilers and theory of computer science in the 6th semester, and it really helped. That was a time when we had those lectures in Vidyalankar too. So I would say, I mean, for students who feel anxious that you're not really up to the mark as compared to your peers, remember that you're not starting from zero. So you already have something and you're just building on top of that. And the way I used to do it was I used a lot of interleaving techniques. I mean, I know that there is a certain sequence, like Rohan mentioned, that DS and algo is basically the fundamental of everything. So, and that is also going to help you a lot in the interviews when you start interviewing after your masters for if you're interested in working in the industry, then DS and algo is certainly the most important subject. And actually mixing a lot of subjects together while studying, it used to help me, because once you sit with a subject and just keep on doing questions of that subject, you will tend to lose sight of, I mean, where you are and how much progress you're making. So I used to kind of mix subjects in a day, and that really helped me.
Yeah. So there's a student, Rutuj. So he is from computer science and he is pursuing, like he is aiming to do his masters. Okay. Now he wants to know, should I go for all subjects or should I go for the main subject? Like he wants to know, should I prepare all subjects or should I prepare the main subjects and subjects in which I am strong?
Yeah. So in my opinion, it is a risk to completely leave any subject off. And as far as I remember, I think we had the software engineering part in
Right.
GATE, on which
Right.
there were not multiple questions. And the way I did was, I mean, certain subjects like algo, DS, compilers, TOC, those were the subjects which had a lot of weightage. I don't know if it has changed now over the years, but I would say don't leave any topic completely. At least have an idea of what it is, so that even if you don't get time to allot, I mean, completely study that subject, you at least know the basics, so that you're not complete. I mean, when you have a question, you can at least do something about it.
Right. Rohan sir, do you want to add something to it?
Yeah, what she said is true, but I'd rather rephrase what she was trying to say is there are certain subjects which are very core, at least for mechanical, which I know. There are 13 to 14 subjects which I would say you should focus around, and you should do something of some subjects that you go through a mechanical engineering course completely.
Right.
It is very rare, as you said, you don't know anything. You never start from zero. You have some idea of it. So just try to try to get to know about certain important concepts, important formulas of that particular subject. But yeah, there are certain subjects which carry maximum weightage in your gate.
Right. So, and sir, how important is solving past exam question papers?
Oh, it is utterly the most important thing that you should do. It gives you an idea how gate questions actually come. Okay, that's the first thing that you benefit from. And secondly, whenever you solve a question, it's also something about a sort of a mental game in gate. So I always start my lectures for a new course by saying that gate is always simple. Gate is always simple, provided you have a knack to start the question. It's very important
Right.
in gate that you get started with the question. It's only 2 marks and 1 mark, so it's not a 14 or 10 mark subjective question. So it's never going to be that difficult. It's never going to be
Right.
that lengthy. So keep that in mind, and when you start it, when you have that kind of mindset behind you, it's, I think so, easy to do, and
Right.
and
Right.
less anxiety.
Right. So, ऋत्विक, आपने कितने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए थे, लाइक पास्ट एग्जाम क्वेश्चन पेपर से?
Oh, I had solved everything from the last, I think, 10, 20 years.
Right.
And I think it is extremely, extremely, I can't stress this enough, extremely important that you at least have a look at all the past questions, because not only will they give you confidence that you can solve those questions, they will also fill the holes that are in your knowledge base. So every
Right.
time you come across a question where you don't know what the question is about, or you don't know how to solve it, that is an opportunity. That is an
Okay.
opportunity in disguise for you to understand it even better.
Right.
So if I were to break up the preparation of gate, I would say 50% of it is actually learning the subject, and the rest 50% of it is solving the questions and getting your confidence up, because confidence matters in gate.
Right. Right. So you should solve as many questions possible,
Yeah,
considering, and you should also consider the accuracy level, like Rohan
yeah,
sir
right.
said. So you'll have to check, like if you have solved 10 question out of 10 question, how many questions you got correct. So that's how you should keep it,
Right.
track on your accuracy level. So there is one more question from you, for you, Rutvik. He wants to know, hello Rutvik, can you tell me from where to practice for GATE EC? He wants to know some standard books that you have referred to. Do you remember any of?
uh, I don't remember any standard books as such. For a few subjects I remember. So for digital, I remember Kang is a good book. For signals and systems, also there was one book, but I can't seem to remember the name. Uh, it is important that you refer to standard books, but you also need to make your own notes. When you start your grade preparation, make sure that uh, when you are in the lectures, you form your own notes, and whenever you go home or whenever you are going to practice those questions, you first refer to your notes. And when you feel like you have a knowledge gap, you write down whatever you did not know in those notes, so that next time when you practice the same notes, you will always go through those uh, knowledge gaps and fill them.
Right. Right. So generally for like in our course, we provide students with past exam question papers with solutions,
Right.
plus also
So
notes, and yeah, there are comprehensive study material which includes all the topics. So
that came in very handy, I have to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is there. Like there is one more question. That was asked by Akash again, and he want to know, like, I want to dig into computer architecture. What field do you think I should get myself into? So I think, like, Varsha, would you like to answer this?
No, actually, I would like to answer it after
Okay,
Varsha.
okay,
After Varsha.
yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, he is basically asking, like, he wants a, he wants to continue his future, whatever, he wants to continue in computer architecture.
So
Because he has mentioned he want to dig into computer architecture. I don't know, he want to go for research, or he want to find a job in computer architecture, or he want to do his master's, but he want to dig into computer architecture. So yeah.
So this is not specific to computer architecture, but the way I looked at things was, if you're interested in a particular subject and you are deciding on which university or which college to pursue it from, try to look up the professors who are working in that field and also the
Right.
papers that they've published. So you get an idea of how far, I mean, which faculty is working on which topics in a certain university or a certain college. So, I mean, I'm not sure if this answers a specific question with regard to computer architecture, but in
Right.
general, for any kind of specific topic that you want to dive into in a master's, that's the way I looked at things then. And
Right.
Ruthvik
Yeah,
can continue.
yeah, Rutvik, yeah, go ahead.
So computer architecture is a very favorite field of mine, and I would say the holy book for computer architecture is a book called Computer Architecture: A Quantitative Approach by John Hennessy. So computer architecture is basically somewhere between electronics and computer science. It is right in the center of electronics and computer science, and it is a very prominent field where both EC knowledge and both CS knowledge is required. So for computer architecture as such, you can go for VLSI related courses, integrated circuits related courses, and those are open in master's program in IITs for both CS and EC. So I think
Okay.
IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay have very good courses about computer architecture and integrated circuits.
Right. So there is one question from Bhushan. He wants to know, I'm quoting his sentence. I am from EC background, and I just want to know how exactly the MTech interview is being conducted. What interview panel is looking for from the candidate? I am 2018 pass out and appearing for GATE 2021. I have 1 year industrial experience. So is it a plus point in an interview? Also, I am taking 2 years for GATE preparation. So will it be a negative point? How these 3 years of gap will affect my interview? So that is his question. So he has directed the question to, maybe Rohan sir can answer this, because you have, yeah.
So first of all, no, that is not going to matter if you have a gap or anything. So that doesn't matter. Secondly, the interviewers will look at the most fundamental questions. So it's going to be a panel that you're going to face, and the questions will be more conceptualized. So so first of all, to answer your first question, yeah, the gap is not going to matter. Industrial experience may come in advantage in certain areas of in certain expertise areas, but may not be always. And secondly, the interviewers may, so see, first of all, I'll give you the examples of certain questions which I was asked, and I tend to ask MTech students when they come for job interviews. So from mechanical perspective, or let's say if he's from EC, I guess, right, Abhijit? He's from EC.
Yeah, he's from EC.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
from EC.
Okay. So I'll try to take one of the examples. I'm not sure whether I'll be quoting this correctly, but let's say radar systems. Okay. So radar systems के जो भी, the more conceptualized stuff, like how does the frequency analysis are working, or they might give you a case study where this is the case. So how will you start your approach? See, the most important thing in cracking these interviews and what the interviewers expect is not the correct answer. It's how you start your solution. It's how you start your approach. How do you start solving a particular problem? So they want your approach, the way you start answering, questioning them as well. If you need certain data, okay, this is the data I want. I want this data so that I can go ahead. So they check, it's a two-way communication. So they also check whether what you want, what you require is eligible, and are you going on the right track. They give you hints as well. So that is my experience as well, in BARC, or maybe in IIT Madras, or even in ISC.
Right.
They never say wrong answers or right answers. They help you, but you should start something. Yeah, Abhijit.
So this is what I have. Yeah, this is what I have also, got to know from most of our achievers who are now working in probably PSU, or they are doing their masters. So this is the same thing. They want to know the approach, how you approach the question. They might give you an open ended question as well, जिसका कोई आंसर ही नहीं है, ऐसा भी कोई क्वेश्चन आपको दे सकते हैं इंटरव्यू में. So this is Akash, he has put a question for Varsha. Dear Varsha madam, how do you suggest I practice computer architecture and organization, because it's my favorite subject? So I think Rutvik has already answered this question. Uh, do you want to add something, Rutvik?
Um, yeah, just read that book. That's a very great.
Yeah,
That's a very good book. It's written by great authors. They are one of them is now I think the head of Stanford University or something.
right.
Yeah, very influential book. Go read that book. It's all about computer architecture.
Yeah. So Rutvik, how was your daily schedule when during the peak time, right? Like Jan or December, or yeah. So and before as well, like during your entire semester and during the peak time.
Right. I would actually say 70% of my studies were from November onwards. So from November to January, I probably covered 70% of the portion. And
This
yeah,
is a very risky thing to say for
yeah,
our
yeah,
students.
yeah.
एक
I
बार उनको
know,
पता चल गया ना, वो सब वेट करेंगे कि कभी नवंबर आएगा और कब प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे.
but
रोहन
but
सर, I think he is well experienced.
but
Yeah,
the caveat being that I already had a very strong fundamental knowledge. So when
yeah,
I mean studies, I mean question solving. Right. So sorry, I need to
right,
reframe that. I don't mean
right,
70% of the whole learning. I mean 70% of probably question solving.
right,
So so from November onwards, you get a vacation period, and vacation period is when you can really solve lot of questions and fill the holes in your knowledge gap. So when your classes end by the end of November, I think they end. Uh, you have a pretty good understanding of all the subjects as a whole, but
right,
you haven't still practiced, and there are a lot of knowledge gaps. Then what happens is when you start solving actual gate questions, you start to realize, oh, I don't understand this, or oh, I don't understand how this works, I don't understand how specifically this concept or this question is to be solved. That is where I would say you need to refer to your old notes or call up your sirs or do whatever. And that period from November onwards, I think you can dedicate around 4 hours daily, 4 to 6 hours daily of peak concentration. 4 to 6 hours daily peak concentration is enough. You can carry it all the way through January. And I think you have a very strong fundamental base on which you can give your gate exam.
So what about your daily schedule? Like, would you used to sit for your subjects daily on daily basis? Honestly, I never got
Yeah,
that.
yeah, daily basis. You have to study for around 4 to 6 hours. If you are going to study for 6 hours, I would say study for 2 to 2 hours in three slots and take, I think, half an hour or 1 hour breaks in middle. Make
Right,
sure you get a lot of sleep.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rohan sir, would you like to add something?
Yeah, the one of the thing that he said is the most important caveat. You have to have a very strong fundamental knowledge if you are going from November.
Right,
And yeah, one thing I need to add is you should start solving your papers along the same time frame and same time slot that you have when you're solving full length mock questions. Okay, so
right,
for example, let's say you have 9 to 12 slot for gate or 2 to 5 slot for gate. So when you try to solve those full length question, try to be around that time frame as well. And Rutvik said you should have a good sleep. Burning the midnight oil always may not help you, but
right,
keeping your preparation well in advance is definitely going to help you.
right. Uh, so coming back to interview questions, Varsha, do you
Yeah.
remember your interview questions? Like when
So I think about the research program that Ritvik was talking. So
No,
I
for
interviewed
Siemens,
for that.
I want to know your if you remember your interview questions, like Siemens interview questions.
Okay. The interview process, I must say, is real fun. So,
Okay.
I'm talking entirely from a CS perspective here.
Right.
And much of the core of your interviews for all those big short tech companies are algo and DS. So, just, make sure you know it in and out. So, what happens is once you start with your master's, you have your thesis and other things. So, coding and actually solving algorithm questions tends to take a backseat then. But I would suggest that keep coding and keep practicing every day because you can't cram in everything the previous night of the interview. So at least do one problem a day or one or two, or at least think about how you'll solve a problem, solve an algorithm question. And the effect of compounding is huge. We won't realize it when we're doing, but even if you spend an hour every day, the effects that is going to come out of it after, say, 2 months is going to be really huge. So the two main topics that I would say to focus for interviews for CS people are algo and DS. So plus,
And
also
yeah,
expected to have a knowledge of other concepts like networking, database, and other things. But these are the main topics.
yeah. So, and Rohan sir, you yourself, recruit a lot of resources every year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So generally, what kind of skill set you look for in engineering students from like CS, IT, EC, and mechanical branch perspective.
Uh, so, okay, I'll answer from CSIT as well as mechanical perspective.
Yeah, yeah,
Questions slightly differ because let's say if you are recruiting for mechanical engineers, we won't go into data structures and coding, but we
right,
ask them riddles,
right,
some puzzles to solve. We
right,
ask them core mechanical questions, maybe strength of materials, maybe some CAD/CAM related questions. That's where our
right,
product basically focuses on. So
right,
when it because as Varsha just now said, you should know how to solve a problem. You should at least think about it. So when it comes to riddles and puzzles, you try to solve it. You
right,
try to approach a solution. That's what we try to look into students, the way they are thinking about that particular problem. This goes for mechanical and civil guys. When
right,
it comes to EC or CS or IT students, we tend to focus more on data structures, algo, and sometimes we do stretch it to system design. So
right,
system design, it also involves databases uh, and also, yeah, it's slightly different perspective, but yeah, interviews is fun and it takes for CS and IT, I would say data structures, algo, and system design. If you know, that's a plus point. It's going to give you a very good benefit. And when we're interviewing for mechanical guys in Siemens, we tend to look to solve riddles, core mechanical basic questions, and CAD/CAM related
right,
questions.
right. So for students who are joining live today, uh, I wanted all of you to know that we are starting our new batches from tomorrow, that is 20th of May, for both Gate 21 and Gate 2022, and you can still inquire. And our number is 9004384232. You can call us, you can email us, you can also put down your query in our website gate.vidyalanka.org. So there are a lot of questions coming in. There is one question from Amay. He wants to know, like he has quoted, "Hello Rutvik, do we need to solve the given books by Vidyalankar at the same time when the lecture is continuing, and how to cope up with backlogs?"
Right. So, yes, I think it is advantageous when you solve the gate questions as your studies are progressing. um, I think that really helps a lot, because then you realize even in between the lectures. So after a lecture, you tend to think you know something, but you really don't know the fundamentals of it. Um, those When you solve the questions related to that field, sometimes you realize, oh, maybe this is I don't understand this. That can definitely help. Secondly, going back to my previous question, what I actually wanted to add was, uh, see, you can do well in GATE even in 1 year. Uh, what I wanted to say is, if I can cover much of the portion in a short amount of time, any single person can. GATE is not really about a lot of aptitude or anything. If you put in enough time, you can easily do it. So, and coming to Vidyalankar's books about, Vidyalankar's previous questions, previous questions from GATE, I think, yeah, you need to solve them as your lectures are continuing. So, yeah.
Right. So did you also sit for campus recruitment drive,
Uh,
like in your seventh semester?
So for my college, they had two sorts of campus interviews for people who weren't sure of their post graduation. Yeah, so if they wanted to do post graduation or not, and for the other people who were definitely sure they don't want to do. So I could not sit for the ones where they require you not to go for post graduation, but I did sit for the ones where you could defer them, or you could maybe say no, I don't want to come after a while.
Right. So how was your experience? Like, was
Right. So I sat for Infosys, and I did get through Infosys, and they did ask me questions related to EC, and a lot of them were similar or Gate-esque, I would say. And
right?
yeah, Gate knowledge definitely helped there.
Okay, okay. So great. There is one more question from Akash. Okay. So Akash actually he said he forgot the name of the book that you said, like he couldn't hear, so he wants to, wants you to repeat it.
Okay,
The
so
book that you referred, yeah, for computer
it's
architecture.
it's Robert Patterson and John Hennessy, computer architecture quantitative approach.
Right,
They run a very good MTech course on computer architecture in IIT Delhi. I think it's called VDTT.
right,
So if you want to get into that course, you need a good gate rank, and it's definitely one of the best courses related to computer architecture in India.
okay.
And
So
specifically IITs, I think this year the QS rankings had IIT Delhi at around 49th in the world, 48th or 49th. So it's just below universities of I think University of San Diego. It's in that range. So it's a very good course. The MTech at IIT Delhi is a very reputed course. I think you should definitely go for it if you are interested in computer architecture, and definitely crack Gate and do well.
yeah, perfect. Varsha, like since you are in the US, so let us know like what is the current situation there due to COVID-19, and how this is going to affect the job scenario, because most of our students are worried.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's all good, all good. So there
Yeah,
are tensions around that because students are really worried. And I mean, how will the scenario
right,
change once you graduate? So for students who are graduating this May or maybe this December, it's a lot more worrisome for them because they'll be right into the job market. For students who are maybe just come to
right,
the US and will only be graduating next year, they still have some time to figure out where things will be headed. And one thing that I'd like to say here is not all industries are
right,
getting affected. So there are certainly some industries which are more affected, like the travel industry, the hotels and other things, transportation and things like that. But the tech industry is still going strong. So the software and the IT services are still going strong. So the unemployment rates in US for these specific industries are actually less compared to the traditional manufacturing and other things. So, I mean, there are tensions around that, but hopefully it'll all come good as my opinion.
what do you think, Rohan sir, about the COVID-19 situation, and like how it is going to impact our students? And especially, do you also think like they should go for masters now, since like if they can crack the gate exam and they can get into some premier institute, complete their masters in 2 years, then I think economic conditions will revive, and then there will be a lot of opportunities. Can you guide something?
Yeah, I think this is also a good time to go into master. So you have that 2 years of span, for the economy to again restart itself properly.
Restart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for tech companies, as Varsha already mentioned, there are certain companies who are very strongly going even now in this current situation. So there is a huge impact, but it is restricted to certain set of industries, like what you
Right.
already mentioned. But tech industries are affected, but not to the extent to that it has been portrayed.
Right. And there is a question from Apurva Kulkarni. She wants to know, hello, is it true Indian PSU companies will be private companies soon? How privatization of PSU in India will affect GATE aspirants? Now, this question is now quite popular. Rohan sir, if you can explain.
Uh, I really don't think so that is going to be anytime sooner. But
Yeah.
I maybe not be the correct person. I still have not
Yeah,
yet read this.
even if the PSUs are privatized, how it is going to affect the students who are aspiring for GATE, because they will even recruit students from who have a GATE score, or like their eligibility criteria to get into PSU will still be GATE exam. That's what I think, because they will need good
Yeah.
resources, and to get good resources, yeah. So, what do you think, sir?
Yeah. See, first of all, that process, the recruitment process is not going to change that easily. That's the foremost thing.
Right.
Second thing is whether it be a PSU right now or whether it be a private company like Siemens. We always,
Right.
whenever before we start our interviews, we ask for a GATE score. We always ask the candidates its GATE score. So it helps us gauge about the student, how well he has performed. It also gives you another insight of the student. So irrespective of the privatization or PSU, your GATE score does matters.
Right. So what do you, I want you, sir, to suggest to students some like how they can utilize this time, to work on their skill set or preparation of GATE and all those things.
Okay, so let's talk about there are certain programs in IIT which also look for an overall development of the students, like RA program in IIT Bombay. And when you talk about GATE preparation, yeah, there are certain subjects which you have, for third year students, these are 6 semester, I guess it's done. So they are pretty fresh with those subjects. They can recap those subjects properly from GATE per se. Third thing that I would suggest, students of maybe CS, IT, mechanical, any branch, try
Right.
to have some extra skill set. There are a lot of courses that are now available in Coursera. There are courses in Udemy. Okay, do the short courses. Try to get some skills. So whenever we interview, we also look for this kind of extra skill set. If the student has, that's a plus point. Okay, so you can prepare for GATE as well, and you can prepare for the industry as well. So
Right.
stand out. So these
Right.
courses are very cheaply available today nowadays online, and you can just access them easily. That is my suggestion to them.
Yeah. So opportunities through GATE is not limited to only getting into PSUs, but you can also get a job in MNC or any industry if you have a good technical skill, and having a good GATE score itself will prove that you have a good technical skill, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So there is a question from
Can
Mansi.
I
Yeah.
can I add
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to that?
Ritwik. Yes. 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 Go ahead.
Right. So a lot of people don't know this, but there are a lot of German universities which actually accept GATE scores.
Right.
uh,
Right.
German and Singapore universities. So that is a plus point if someone wants to go for a German university. Then actually having a good GATE score is a very big plus point. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted
I
to
know.
add.
In fact, TUM, I think Technical University of Munich,
Uh,
then yeah, accepts GATE score. There is one question from Mansi. She wants to know if one is sure about doing masters and preparing for GATE. What do you suggest? Should we go for placement or not? Like she's asking about campus placement. I personally think they should definitely go for campus placements, and they should have that as a backup plan, or maybe plan B. Then once they are done with their placement, because their placements will end by 7th semester itself, then they still will have pretty 2-3 months to prepare for GATE, like to go full on. It will keep their opportunities and keep their opportunities open. So, sir, do you want to suggest something?
I think Rutvik is maybe a better person to answer because he's currently
Yeah.
just passed out. So he
Yeah.
might give a better perspective on it.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, having a campus placement is a good idea. It's a good backup. But just make sure that a lot of companies will have bonds. Uh, don't sign a bond if you are not
Right.
sure about what you are going to do after graduation. So you don't want to be stuck at a
Okay.
company even though you have a good gate score or you have some other plans. Just make sure the companies don't have bonds.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
Yeah,
can go
Yeah.
for campus placements.
yeah. I would like to
So yeah.
add one thing on this.
Yeah.
Even good having a good backup plan is essential, but I would suggest students should not become slack in that. Once you have a company or when you have a campus placement, your mindset should not wander off from your gate studies. So it has, I've seen
Right.
some students who are affected. They already have a campus placement, so they tend to lose focus on gate post that.
Yeah. Yeah. So and Rohan sir, you also have a meeting at 8,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to leave anytime, you can. We will just take few more questions because there are few more questions coming in from students.
Mhm.
Uh, there is a question from for Rohan sir. I have a problem, that is I am very impatient when it comes to studying for GATE or any other topic. I tend to jump quickly. How do I remain calm and do it patientfully? Like do it
Okay.
patiently, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, we. I think so. That's a generic problem. Even I have, and I still have it.
Yeah.
So it's always from gate perspective. Let's say you cannot. Rome was not built in a single day. That's the famous saying, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be. Let's say you are in third year or maybe fourth year. You still have a year or maybe 2 year to get into, to develop your knowledge about the subjects that are required for gate. So
Right.
start with simple stuff that will help you become more confident and become less anxious. Try to start with the subjects which you are comfortable with for gate, and then once you have that confidence about solving those questions for your favorite subjects, then you tend to become more, less impatient. Then you try
Right.
to go for those subjects also which you don't want to at the initial stage.
Yeah, I think this is true for every engineering student, right?
Yeah.
Varsha, what do you think? Like, I think even you might have also feel impatient and sometimes, lost because of the subjects and all those things, because of the pressure. Like, एक ऐसा engineering में there is one, pressure that is built all the time, and एक रहता है. One is peer pressure, of
Yeah,
course. Because, yeah. So what do you think?
certainly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people have heard of this. There's a Pomodoro technique, which is there. So that really works for me. So the thing is, you take out 25 minutes. You set a timer for 25 minutes. You study
Right.
something, and then you take a 5-minute break. So I mean, sometimes क्या होता है, like you don't want to be stressing on what is the outcome of your study. Like I don't want to be sitting and saying कि I want to learn asset properties of database. Instead, I just say that, chalo, I'm going to spend 25 minutes learning something. So
Right.
if you keep short goals, it helps you achieve faster. And I like to suggest one course. So there's a course, I guess it's learning how to learn. It's a course on Coursera. Yeah, I think it will take around roughly 7 to 8 hours to finish. And the professor is amazing. I mean, she tells you many techniques which you might have followed right from your schooling days. But it helps actually to understand how you can learn and how you can tap into your uh, the strengths of your brain. So some of us are visual learners, and I mean, concepts in engineering are actually very abstract, right? You can't actually put a figure or something and understand it. So she actually explains how you can tap into some strengths of your brains and certain habitual things that you do every day to learn better. I mean, spending 2 hours and getting the most out of those 2 hours, how you can do that, she explains it very well. So it's called Learning How to Learn. It's on Coursera. I would suggest, I mean, if students have around 7 to 8 hours to spend on this, they should certainly do that.
Right. Uh, and what about Rutwik? Like, did you also stressed out during your exam days and engineering days?
Oh, of course. Every single engineer would. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to be stressed. What you are going through is very normal.
Right.
You have to stay calm. You have to stay collected. You should always have a good dream. I tell myself and I tell everyone I know, should always have a good dream. because a dream will make sure that you have some kind of motivation that is pushing you. When you think
Yeah.
about a far flung thing which you know where your goal, that is where you need to be and what your goals are, then it doesn't matter what subject is it between you and your dream, you will eventually overcome it. And so yeah, dream, when you start studying, think about why you're studying, think about uh, what your end goal is, and then visualize your end goal for a few minutes, and then start studying. I think that
Okay.
gives you a lot of motivation.
And
Yeah,
try to
Abhijit, I would.
downside.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah, before going, I just wanted to add what Rutvik said is really true. You need to have a dream. It may be more you can say spiritual or abstract concept where people might tend to think about in a more practical world. But yeah, you should have a dream. And there is a very good saying which I would like to quote before going, that Varsha already suggested. We have a compounding effect. Even if you do certain things daily, you might not see the effect in 2 days, but you might see the effect in 7 days. So there's a book called I don't remember the author, but I would just quote the book. It's the effect of 1%. Okay, so try to improve 1% daily, and after 3-4 months it compounds and goes to very high percentage. So that's the best way to do it, to get rid of your anxiety and to get rid of your fear. So Abhi, I
Right.
would like to drop off. Sorry guys. And
Yes, yes.
uh,
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for joining.
yeah, Varsha,
Yeah.
thank you for joining, and Rutvik, all the best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
So we'll take one or two more question. One question is from Bhushan. He said, "I self-studied for 1 year for GATE, but I think with the help of self-studies, I could just cross cut-off line and unable to get good GATE scores. So how Vidyalankar will assist me in my preparation to get a good rank? For those who are self-studying, from my experience, I would suggest it is really difficult to compete with top 3000 rankers. So you have to again repeat for it for 1 more year. Uh, okay, so actually, this is like he basically wants to know if self-study will help him to get into top 1000 or top 500 AIR. Uh, Rutwik, you can go ahead. Like you can answer this question.
Right. So so there are two parts to this answer. The first part is uh, so why lectures help, right? So when you sit in a classroom, you don't have that many distractions. By because of the force of a teacher, you tend to learn a lot more. Um,
Right.
that is extremely true. And secondly, because of this COVID, I think Vidyalankar is now offering online lectures. So self study and lectures have now become very similar, right? So you can sit at your own home, you can still have
Right.
lectures. When someone else teaches something to you, it becomes easier than, for many people it becomes easier than sitting down and learning the concept itself, right?
Right.
So I think Vidyalankar will definitely help you. uh, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. Yeah. What I think is like basically he wants to know the advantage of coaching or getting trained by an expert. Okay, so I think there are three things. One, firstly, you have to understand when you join a coaching or when you join a batch, then you will be in a tight schedule, right? Because there will be lectures on weekly basis, so you'll have to attend that lecture. That is one. Second, you'll get a peer group, right? You'll get a group of students who are also aiming to achieve the same thing. So in a way, that peer group will help you. Plus, there will be faculties and experts who themselves have been there and done that. So they are the right person to guide you. Okay, so that's what his question was. Like
Yeah,
I think he has appeared gate once and he could not secure that good rank. So he wants to know like how
yeah,
coaching will be important and how
yeah,
what kind of role does coaching plays. So
yeah.
that's what his question.
Can
Yeah,
I
yeah,
add
yeah, yeah,
something?
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So I would actually like to give a shout out to one of my Vidyalanka professors, Anish sir,
Right.
if
Okay.
he is in the chat or listening.
Yeah.
So what happened was, specifically in one subject, control systems, I did not know anything. I did not even understand anything. Even the fundamentals were not very clear. And
Right.
because of him, uh, he understands where a student can lack, right?
Right.
So a good faculty actually knows uh, where the subject is actually difficult, and
Right.
for many subjects, actually starting the subject itself is very difficult. You don't know the fundamentals very well, and
Right.
that is where you already have someone who knows how to uh, deal with that
Right.
you don't, yeah, that helps a lot. So I
Right.
think lectures do help a lot. When someone else teaches you, that does help a lot.
Right. So we'll take one last question from Ruchita. We are running out of time. Ruchita is asking, is it important to score good pointer in semester if we are preparing for GATE? So Varsha, please go ahead.
So although it doesn't really directly impact your admission to the masters, I think there is a certain level of cutoff that you need. But
Yeah.
yes, I think it was
IITs में कितने हैं ऋत्विक? IITs में I think it's 6.5, right?
Six, yeah, six, I think
Six.
6 or
It's six.
6.5, yeah.
6 or 6.5.
yeah.
Yeah, Varsha. Yeah.
So what happened was, I mean, during my time at VJTI MTech में, so there were students who were really good then, but उनका problem ये हुआ था कि engineering के some semester में they had scored less than 60, which
Right.
caused them to, I mean, certain companies don't allow students who have less than 60% or something. So I would say कि at least maintain that threshold का level, but I mean 60% or whatever it is, 65% जो भी है, Mumbai
Yeah,
University
I
still
think
goes by percent.
6.5 plus CGPI, you will be in the same platform like
Yeah.
a student with 9 CGPI, but you'll have to compete based on gate score and the interview that you are going to face.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
having said that, I mean, the big tech companies don't really give any, I mean, they don't even look at your GPA.
mark sheets, right?
So,
Yeah, GPA. Yeah,
so
I know,
all
I
they
know, I
want
know.
is you have the aptitude to work there and have the
Right.
aptitude to tackle new problems when you're faced with
Right.
them. That's all they
Right.
care about.
I think in like in 1 or 2 years, nobody will care about your score. Like once you are done with your engineering, ऐसे ही होता था पहले 10th का score would be मतलब एक बार 10th का score अच्छा आना
I mean,
चाहिए, then
it
12th,
just helps
yeah,
you for the next step. So 10th ka score se you get a good 12th ke liye admission.
yeah, right,
Just the next.
right.
That's all.
Just to
So
the
when
next
at
step,
this
that,
point in life, no one is going to really look at my engineering marks. So
right. So everything will be based on your performance and how updated you are and what kind of hard work you are doing and how consistent you are. So finally, like before ending the session, I want both of you to advise our students how to utilize this time to develop some sort of skill set or maybe preparing for gate. So what should be their daily schedule? And like most of the students, I know I have met few, I have spoken to few students uh, who still they are thinking like एक बार ये खत्म हो जाए, lockdown खत्म हो जाए, then we will start our preparation. So basically, I want both of you to advise them with your thoughts.
okay, Ritvik, would you like to go first or?
Sure. Right. So what again? I would say first have a dream. I'll tell you my dream. Okay. So I was really interested in semiconductors from 12th standard. That is why I chose electronics as my bachelor's. And again, that is why I'm going to go into MTech, mostly in some microelectronics related program. Okay.
Right.
So always have a dream first. And when you have a dream, look for ways to realize that dream. So for me, uh, one aspect of my dream was that I wanted to be very financially independent. Um, that is why I chose to go for MTech, because MTech, it's, you don't carry any financial burden. I think in fact MTech pays you. It pays
In
you
fact,
some
you'll get
yeah,
stipend. Yeah.
yeah,
You
you
get a
get
stipend.
a stipend. So you are in net positive in terms of money.
Right.
You get a world class education. I mean, top 50 in
Right.
the world.
Right.
Uh, it opens up a lot of doors for you. The IIT tag and having a master's. does open a lot of doors, especially in very technically sound fields, uh, where India does have a big future. So chip design, computer architecture, these are fields where India has a huge potential. If you look at uh, chip design after US, I think most of the jobs are in India.
Right.
So have a dream, and once you have a dream, you can start utilizing your time, because then you know what you need to do, right? So I think first have a sit down, have a dream, and then start utilizing your time. I keep saying that word a lot, have a dream, but I think it's very important. um,
Right.
you should have, yeah.
Yeah, I think they still have I think good 2 to 3 months for their colleges to start, and if they utilize this time, they can learn a lot of
Right.
things like Coursera. Mein, as Rohan and Varsha mentioned, there are a lot of courses that they can enroll for. Plus, they can also continue with their gate preparation. So I think they should utilize this time as much they can. Varsha, your suggestions?
Yeah, so like Ritvik mentioned, I mean, I'm just putting it in a different way. So everyone has a
Right.
different why, right? I mean, for Ritvik, I mean, finance was something that was important for him.
Right.
Everyone has a different why. Identify your why you're doing this, because a lot of times it's so easy to get into herd mentality. यार सब लोग कुछ तो कर रहे हैं, सब लोग गेट दे रहे हैं, मैं भी देती हूँ. So
Hmm.
it happens like that. But try and sit for some time and identify why you're doing it. Write it down somewhere big in your, I mean, some place that you'll see every day. Write down your dream. I mean, that will
Right.
keep you focused there. And another thing that I would like to say in hindsight is trust in your decisions. I mean, Abhi, the problem is you have a lot of different options and different paths that you can choose from. I mean,
Right.
after engineering, you have so many different paths that you can take. But once you've taken a decision, stick to it. I mean, don't go back and keep on rethinking that, yaar, aisa karna chahiye tha, or maybe this would have been better. So don't regret and don't, I mean, once you take a decision, stick to it and don't spend additional time revisiting that decision again and again. Another thing is, not everyone is born smart. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि now, I mean, Rutvik has scored a really good AIR, and even if he's smart, he had to put in the hard work for that. So just, I mean, don't think कि जो लोग achieve करते हैं, it's only because they are smart. Once you go into your masters, a lot of focus will be on the core subjects. So your soft skills and the other skills that you want to develop, use this time to develop that. And also maybe take this time to learn the basic concepts. So if you want to do machine learning, for instance, you need to have statistics background, a little math background. So use this time to learn the prerequisite things that might help you once you go into a master's program. So yeah, utilize this time well. I mean, you're actually are in this situation that you have this extra time that you're not losing on time in college lectures and traveling and things. So utilize this time and don't get too stressed out. So ho jayega. I mean, eventually everyone finds out a way. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's what, like, with that note, we will end this session. Firstly, have a dream and try to find the why, like your why, try to find your why and start working towards it. And thanks both of you for joining us today. I think a lot of students have, learned a lot of things. And मैं तो यही बोलूंगा कि do not take stress, keep calm and start working. Take small steps and baby steps, and ultimately, there will be that compound effect, and you will definitely get something. You'll definitely achieve something good in life. Okay. And so, and finally, I would like to say, everyone, stay safe, be at home, and if you have any queries, you can please get back to us at 900-438-4232. Thank you, and all the best, Rutvik and Varsha, both of you. Thanks.
Thank you, and all the best to all the students.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.